What's up, you guys? This is kunyribrent with RTB campaign. I wanted to welcome you guys and thank you guys so much for taking the initiative and increasing your credit knowledge with this course, all right? So let's get straight into it, all right? So in this section, we're going to go over the credit report, right? And we're going to start off with some really basic information so that you kind of understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. We're going to talk about what is a credit score and what is a credit report and why are they important, right? So what is a credit score? So in one sentence, the credit score is the predictor of how likely the credit bureaus think you would be likely to pay a loan or a debt. The higher your score, the more likely they believe you will be to pay your debts, right? And the lower your score, the less likely you will be to pay your debts. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. A better number means that you think that you're a better risk for higher amounts and more loans. And of course, the lower the score, the higher the risk they think you are, which is why they might charge you a higher interest rate, right? Now, the big three credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and we're going to be talking about them a little bit later in a little more detail, they all keep records of your credit history. And from that, the credit score is calculated from a secret mathematical formula that analyzes all the data in your credit file. It's derived from dozens of factors. Negative items such as late payments or collections will affect your credit score, right? And once you start removing negative items, you can start improving some of the factors that's keeping your score down. And we're going to focus on that quite a little bit later, right? A little bit later in this course, right? The whole idea is to get rid of some of these negative items so that we can move your score up, right? So as far as these three different credit bureaus having their own different credit scores and their own formulas that we're going to talk about, you might find that once you get your credit scores, they may be slightly different. And I wouldn't get too hung up on this because remember, the three main credit bureaus all have, or they all maintain their own credit system, and they all have their own database, right? So the formulas may be a little bit different. They may factor some things a little bit heavier than others, and the information they have may be a little bit different as well. So they have different ways of collecting information, and they also have different people reporting information to them. So the information that they have on you or any other person may be different between three different credit bureaus, right? But generally speaking, they're almost all pretty close to each other. And as you work to improve your credit, all your scores will start to improve, right? So I wouldn't get too hung up about that, about the scores and how they're calculated and how Experian is 10-point difference than Equifax or something like that, right? I'm often asked what is a good score, right? To give you a baseline, credit scores generally run around 350 points to 850 points. And generally speaking, a creditor would consider a good score to be above 700, right? So when you do get your credit score, you're going to be able to use this as a baseline on where you're starting out and where you want to go, right? So what about the credit report? It comes from the credit file, which is the collective information that the credit bureaus keep on you. The credit report is what they let you and creditors see, right? It's used by entities that need to verify that you are a good risk for whatever you're selling or buying to create a good relationship with you. It could be a potential landlord to make sure that you don't have any potential history of not paying your rent. You know, you want to apply for a credit card, and you're looking for some of the offers that they might give you or some offers that they may have. So it's quite true that other entities and other businesses may have other reasons to see your credit report, and that does happen. Later on, when we get the credit report, I'm gonna show you guys how to see who's been looking at your credit file. And you don't always know why they're looking, but you can see who's looking, and it's kind of interesting, you know what I'm saying? Because some people don't even know who's looking at the credit score. So this information could be quite useful. So that in a nutshell is what the credit score and the credit report is about. We're going to talk more about why the credit score rises and falls and how it kind of works in the next session. So yeah, you guys, let's get to it. All right.